Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I barely got on. Oh, was it me? Was it me or what?
No, I think it was just Zoom.
Because it said another that you had another meeting going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you got it fixed.
Hello? Hello? Hey, I was having a problem getting on, but I'm on.
Melody, there's a lot of background noise.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to mute everyone.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Bye. Melody.
Okay, I muted everyone. So if you want to speak, for those who are speaking as part of our outreach, make sure that you unmute yourself. So Grandma Dorothy, I tried to catch your mic before it muted, but I couldn't. So you have to unmute. I'll message Nanette and have her unmute it.
Unmute.
Yeah.
There you go. Awesome.
Now, there was a swishing noise.
Ah, that's what I had to fix. I had to mute everyone because there is some background noise. So
Okay.
sorry. If we hear that again, I'm just gonna have to ask everyone to mute unless you're talking. So if you're talking, you can unmute. But for anyone who's just listening, make sure that you mute yourself. Let's see. So we have the chat. Yes. So you can record. We are also recording this. This is on Zoom. And with the permission of the Kiowa Language and Culture Revitalization Program, we'll just have to make sure that we do have permission to post the recording publicly. So hopefully that will, the recording will be available on YouTube, as well as the Kiowa Tribe website. So I'll just confirm that with the KLCRP program staff. But yes, we are recording for future reference. And if you would like to record through your own device or audio, whatever, feel free. You're welcome to record. Let's see here. I see we have everyone joining. This is awesome. It's good to see everyone. Deonde Batsan. Let's see. I want to double check, make sure we have all of our speakers here for the outreach before we get started. So let me check here and see who we have on the list. Let's see. So Deborah, for your question on Zoom recording. So I am actually recording this already on Zoom. So what we usually do is we make the recording available through a private YouTube channel. However, because this is our outreach, I'm pretty sure, I see the KLCRP staff on there. So let me ask Lily, the coordinator, to see if she could answer that question about whether this Zoom recording will be available publicly later on. And Lily, I think you're muted. Oh, so she said thumbs up. Okay. Aho, thank you, Lily. So yes, this recording will be available publicly on YouTube and the Kiowa Tribe website. So we'll make sure to, for anyone who's here in the room, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link, a feedback link, a survey link into the chat box. And for those of you who are here with us, if you take a minute to fill out that link, you could also leave your email address, or you can send your email address to me privately, and I'll make sure to get you that link to the recording. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so we can get started. It looks like we have almost everyone for our outreach. So let's see here.
I see Pat. I see, hello, Richard.
Can I hear you?
And Richard Aitson.
I don't think they can hear you.
Oh, really? I'm mute.
Oh yeah, we can hear you, Grandma. We can hear you, Grandma Dorothy.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
And the rest of us is us, the ones I see.
yeah, right now there are 40 people on here.
Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Is Terry Greaves
Right here.
there?
Watch. Right there, where you can see us.
I am, Dorothy, I am.
Hello, sweetie. Richard's here. Right above you.
Wait now.
yeah. Howdy.
Welcome. Let's see. Do we have Grandma D, Miss Dolores Harrogera? Are you on? Oh, there you are. Okay. So, Carolyn, I know you're probably there. You're muted right now, so you'll have to unmute. It won't let me unmute you for some reason. Awesome. And then we
Hello.
hey, I'm Pohyomda. Grandma D. Let's see, Velma, you're muted right now. You might have to unmute whenever it's your turn to talk. And then Miss Pat, you'll have to unmute yourself. So just be prepared. And then Brenda, you'll unmute yourself when it's your turn. I see Marie. Hello, Marie. And then I saw Courtney Sotai somewhere. Okay, there's Courtney. Awesome. And then how about Cricket? Do we have Cricket on the line? I don't see Cricket yet. Marie, would you be able to text Cricket really quick?
She said she'll be on. I talked to her just a few minutes ago, so she'll be on pretty soon.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, we'll just hold on for a second then, because I know she kind of speaks pretty shortly after we get started.
Hello, Sandy.
Hey, Grandma.
Hi.
I can't see you though.
Uh-oh. We can,
I think I found it now. I couldn't find that unmute. Hold on just a minute.
there you
Can
go,
you hear?
Pat.
Can you hear me? Okay. All right. All right. I got it, Macy. Bye.
All righty. Oh, there's Cricket. Hey, Cricket.
I am my Kiowa computer not working.
Uh-oh.
So
Your phone is kind of cutting in and out. We
of course.
barely hear you.
Anyway, so I set up another computer right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me get something.
All right. Well, that's okay. We're just all saying hello and making sure everyone's audio and everything works. And we have
Another computer right now.
we have 42 people.
Okay. Another one. Hold on.
That's
What?
42.
Wow.
42.
That is
Let's see. And I'm trying to see if I can get a
I'll just move it when it's right.
we need to make a participant list. So I'm just going to be taking some notes while we're talking and making sure we have everyone's, at least your names written down as far as who I can see. But like I said, if you would like the recording later on, feel free to put your email address in the chat box, or you can put it in the chat box and send it directly to, it'll say my name, Melody. You can send it directly to me, and then I will make sure that we send the recording to you. And feel free to use the chat box. Use the chat box if you have questions as we go along. And we'll be stopping every now and then so we can get questions from all of you.
We've got Deborah from New Zealand on there.
I think she's
Hey!
And is Kenny, is Mr. Spivey going to make it?
Are you fine? I don't need to raise it up.
Cool. Besoyam.
No, I don't think he's coming. He's not going to be here.
Okay.
That sculpture piece is something else. It's pretty.
Yeah, we'll be sure to make sure we talk about that here. Uh-oh.
We would like to link your Kiowa language YouTube page.
Hello.
Please link-
Hi, Bernadine.
Hi. Hello.
Noah. Yo, Noah. I didn't know, Bean.
Those are people. just-
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to keep your sound on. Okay, turn it off.
That's okay. Feel free to use the chat box with any questions. And like I said, we'll be stopping here and there for people to have an opportunity to ask questions. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our
Give the people
presentation
on just typing.
Yeah, okay.
so that we can get started. So,
There's somebody else.
all right. Hey, I'm gonna, and I hope all of our speakers who are part of the session, I hope you have your notes by you. Cool. So let me share my screen.
Now you're over here.
Yeah.
So you should see my screen. All right, can everyone see the screen?
Oh.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So to get us started, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Carolyn Colley.
Just started.
Okay, this is the Anadarko and Norman Community Outreach Event. Welcome. Deonde Batson. Deonde Babon. Goy Hainte Ga 8 Don Ye Dope. Be Ahal. Glad you came. Glad to see you all. We're going to touch on a Kiowa story. You listen. And then we're going to have our opening prayer by Velma Eisenberger, one of our Kiowa language mentors. Okay, Velma.
Aho. Dog bega dog o moi dog tore dog they own they do tido they go dog tado they own they hate to hey go get oi taints get dog and we're gathering together go don't you get dog go our stories dog aho they hate to get taints o dog don't tie get dog and I'm paid o dog no aho they know they key that ba con they an go town dog but get my oi be dog con they an go town dog but they own they cook they don't bail though dog or dog tie get dog they and bit all how go dog and get town dog they own they key that oi dog they hoi tape go beta dog they hoi goik akon but all those who are participating in this Zoom presentation dog beta they dog they honde yan high good dog you know what their needs are Heavenly Father and pray that you would bless them Heavenly Father, dog beta do they dog they own they coi akon ba heto get tains o dog don't tie get dog e dog no a ho de ya no my dog amen.
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 Oh. So now here's our little agenda. And we're going to go into some information about the Kiowa Language and Culture Revitalization Program. So I'm going to turn it over to Cricket to get us started.
Oh, they own de babon, they own de batsan. So this program is the Kiowa Language and Culture Revitalization Program, and it covers a 5-site area of Oklahoma where the highest concentration of Kiowas are. So that's Tulsa, Oklahoma City area, which we house it in Norman, and Anadarko, Carnegie, and Lawton. So those were identified as the sites that have the highest concentration of Kiowas. And Melody is actually the one that wrote this grant several years ago. And there are 3 components to this grant that started the Kiowa Language and Culture Revitalization Program. And now it's, Lily, is it a department now? Lily, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, and so now it's become a department, and we're establishing a language board. There's already been a resolution passed for it that will set up some guidelines on who is going to be able to pass Kiowa language tests to become certified teachers in the state of Oklahoma in the public school setting. And then that's one component of it. And that is, there's 3 components to this grant. So one component is the teachers, developing 5 teachers at each one of those sites, working with the Indian education program in the schools at those sites, and working with a mentor. So in a little bit, you'll get to see the mentor at each site. I think there's a slide on it. And then and the teacher candidates at each site. It's pretty intensive as far as what we need to do as teacher candidates, working with our mentors, the amount of hours that we have to put in to be able to learn and be able to develop lessons and to try to be able to teach. Then the other component is what we're doing right now, and that is having outreaches to the rest of the community to get people to buy into that we have to learn Kiowa or nobody's going to learn it. It's just not going to be there anymore. And as we know, it's very, very critical and gets more and more critical that every month, every year, that we have to learn Kiowa. And so that is a very important component. And, you know, out there, people might not even realize how critical it is that we need to learn Kiowa. So it's the buy-in to learn, to develop interest in people to want to learn Kiowa and know that it's endangered, severely endangered. And then the other component is to develop lots of lessons. We have Dr. Tony Satok. You can wave your hand, Tony. And she is the head of she's the curriculum specialist. And she is the head of developing all language materials to help teachers be able to teach. Because as you all know, if you've looked into trying to learn Kiowa, there's nothing to help you learn and nothing to help a teacher teach Kiowa. So she's the head of that. And we have Lily Pinnell, who is the program coordinator. I don't know, Lily, can you say hi? I don't know if you can see her, but anyway, hi. Lily Pinnell. All right. She's the program coordinator. We have Don Topai is our director. We have Sunny Kleinkole. He is our tech person. Melody is contracted out. We have several people that are contracted out. I do resource, and we have Lance White and Rhonda Pula that help Tony with materials. And then we also have the person that helps coordinate everything is the assistant, the director's assistant, and that is Robin Botker. So anyway, that's a little bit about our program. And I don't know who's next. Okay. And here's the areas right here. Is somebody else doing this, or am I doing it?
It's all you, Cricket.
Okay. So this is the Anadarko area. We have Dorothy Whitehorse Salon. She is the one, she and Ms. Hager are leading this today with their alternates. And Ms. Hager wanted everybody to have an alternate. Miss Grandma Dorothy's alternate is Brenda Sullivan from the Anadarko area. They work with the Indian Education director there, and that is David Sullivan. The teacher candidates in the area are Anthony Asatani, Missy Bointy, Pat Kopsa, and Chelsea Wright. So I think the next one is it Norman? Okay. All right. So the next one is the Norman area, and we have Dolores Harrogera, and her alternate is Delma Eisberger. And we work in Norman with the with Lucy Ann Harjo, the Indian Education Coordinator in Norman. And our teacher candidates are Carolyn Colley, Don Parker, Dane Pula, myself, Cricket Roads County Wordick, Dina Marie Takoiti, but we always just call her Marie, and Courtney Sotai. All right. And do we have another one? Another slide?
Sorry, I'm muted.
Okay.
Oh, that's it for the
Okay. All right. But I did want to mention the other three groups. We have Tulsa. We don't have it on here, but we have Tulsa. They're going to be and Carnegie and Lawton, and they're going to be doing their presentation tomorrow and for Veterans Day. And in the Tulsa group, we have Ramon Granado and Leon Hoziptaw, and they work with the Indian Education director there, and it's a new person that I don't remember their name. They just switched out, and they meet they meet on Zoom with the library at Zero Library in Southwest Tulsa. And we have Lawton and Carnegie that meet together, and they meet on Zoom or at the complex when we were doing it in person, and they do their outreaches in Carnegie does their outreaches with the Indian Education Hope. What's Hope's last name?
Worthington.
Worthington. Okay. And then the other area is Lawton, and they do theirs with the church, Hunting Horse Church, I think it is, and then sometimes with the school there at the Indian Education program there. And the candidates for Carnegie and mentors for Carnegie, I think I'll let Tony talk about that.
Well, I just wanted to say to continue to keep our program in prayer. We have one elder mentor that is still in the hospital due to COVID complications. And so our candidates are Curtis Munoz, Julia Knoll, George Woodard. And those are the, I'm missing somebody, Cricket.
Maya.
Maya. And she's on.
Probably.
Are you on, Maya?
She is.
Okay. And Velma has been gracious to kind of step in since our elder mentor is in the hospital. So she's meeting with us on Thursday nights.
Okay.
But continue to keep Colma in prayer. Helen Ekwati, she's still in the hospital.
Okay. All right. So I hope you got in a nutshell, a little bit about our program. I hope.
Cricket. Thank you, Tony. All right, so next we're going to go ahead and go into our topic, and we're going to start off with a storm story. And this is from the book Through Indian Sign Language, the Fort Sill Ledgers of Hugh Scott and Isail. And that is edited by William Meadows. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Brenda.
Hello, everyone. One day, same day, and the boys made a horse. There were no horses then in this country, and they made a horse of mud and put an elk skin on it, but it would not go. It started up in the air and could not be seen, could not see the ground. They told it to move, but it did not listen. It moved a little bit, but stopped and stood still. They told it to move from both sides, but it failed, and boy said it was a failure. It will not do to turn it loose on the prairie. We must send it up. And they took it and threw it up in the air and watched it going up and up until it entered the clouds and was lost to view. It is up there now. Often when a storm is coming up, we can see a horse's head among the clouds and we say, there he is. That is the horse made by Same Day and the Split Boys. That is a very dangerous horse. He makes it hail and twist trees off and makes them fly like birds. One time, a Kiowa war party was coming back from the Ute country. Plenty Stars was the leader, and Stumbling Bear and Old Lone Wolf, who is dead, was with them. I was with them too. We were right where the bodies were lying. Cheyennes, the summer after the Cheyennes were rubbed out on the Washita Black Kettle's band. We saw a big black cloud coming, and the leader said, dismount, it is going to rain hard, and we dismounted and made some shelter. Pretty soon we heard a roar coming that sounded like the buffalo at a distance during the rutting season, August, and we all looked to see what it was. There was a big black cloud that extended down to the ground. There was a little red in the middle. Bolts of lightning came down through the center and set the prairie grass on fire. It tore up big trees and sent them flying through the air like a twig. It was coming straight at us, and all the Kiowas were afraid. It made their hair stick up straight electricity. When it got near, they wanted to mount up and run away, but the old men said, no, try hard, brace up, brace up. We understood this. That is the horse the medicine men made doing that. Get out all the pipes and light them. And they lit them, 7 or 8 of them, and pointed the stems to the cloud and said, smoke it, and begged it to go around and pass by without hurting them. Do not come here, pass around. They all prayed to it, and it heard them. It understood the Kiowas. They talked to it, and it passed around and went off. We were saved as by a hair. Then we went to see its trail. It had broken off big trees and pulled up some by the roots that were 3 feet in diameter and made them fly through the air like birds. It had cut the forest on the Washita River like a trail through the trees. Even the weeds it tore up, and when it struck a big rock, it shattered it into many pieces. It was the medicine horse that did that. We call it Monkoi, meaning a sleeve. Ye, I do not know. The Kiowas were saved that time by the skin of their teeth.
All right, thank you, Brenda. I saw
Oh,
in the chat that we have someone who raised their hand, and maybe someone had a question. Just wanted to see if anyone had any questions about these two stories that we just read. Well, maybe not. That's fine. If you think of a question, just use the chat box. So you heard two stories. The first story was a same day story about Sangoodle, and the second story is a historical account about this experience that they had. So we're going to go ahead and continue on to the next part. All right. And I believe that we wanted to share the info. So like I said, these pages, these stories are excerpts from a book. Whoops. And we wanted to share a this footnote with some information about the names. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to, correct me if I get the name. I think this is Courtney or Marie.
Actually, I have Carolyn.
It's Carolyn. Sorry, Carolyn. Go ahead.
Okay. This, I'm just going to paraphrase what Bill Meadows said. Dr. Meadows cites several sources, Kiowa mythology, Parsons, Harrington, Scott, and Parker McKenzie, of Kiowa words for tornado and or cyclone, and how these words came about based on Kiowa mythology and Kiowa language. Sangoodle, red horse or tornado, was from mythology. Montoya for whirlwind, and that's from the Kiowa verb montoy, which means whirl, spin, rotate, mix. And then Mon-Caw-E for cyclone or tornado, and that's from the Kiowa word for sleeve, Mon-Caw. And it goes on in there about how some of the stories, and it's based from stories he has heard and from what Parker McKenzie had said about some Kiowa words there. Are there any questions?
Can you zoom or slide the text over so we can see the words, the Kiowa words?
If we had a way to write it, she had it just right. The whirlwind, it's Mon-Caw-E, Mon-Caw-E. Thank you, Carolyn. That's the big one, Mon-Caw-E. And then you might hear a smaller word. It's Mon-Caw-E is a big tornado, and Tsang is the one that the Hagan Daughter. Let's see. I was going to start out with saying the first word. Daughter Bedo Honda Ya We pray we get things done. And that always came with a storm. I can still hear my elders going to the cellar and running back. We had a very bad tragedy, I think around 1926, where the Kiowa tribe never got over. A woman from the Lone Bear family, southeast of Carnegie, on that tornado, I think of 19, then. She ran back into the house when there was a tornado coming. Hey, good Mon-Caw-E, son, Hadel. No, go ahead, I Hadel. She got scared, but she ran inside again to get a canvas. And she got caught running back to the storm shelter. And that was my first awareness of a bad storm, because they found her over down by the east of Cedar Creek Church, somewhere in that area, wrapped in the canvas. And that horrified the Kiowas that it could be that powerful. And so after that, you seen them old root cellars going up. I've spent tornadoes in there. They leak sometimes, snakes and mice and everything, but in the early days, a little poured cellar was a necessity with the Kiowas. But our elders, they'll come later from us, but we'll tell the story of how they learned how to pray the tornado away. Thank you.
Oh, Grandma. Let's see. So for anyone who's taking notes, this is actually from Dr. Meadows' book. I don't know if you can see the camera, but it's page 367. If you want to, that's where this screenshot was taken from. And he uses the Parker Mackenzie orthography of writing, but really just write it however you know, whatever works for you, however you can recall it. But the two words that we wanted to focus on for tonight are Tsangoodle, which is red horse, or also known as storm maker because of that same day story, and then Mongka'i, then that's the cyclone. All right. So let's see with that. Let's see what we got in the chat. Oh, thank you, Cricket. So Cricket's putting that in the chat for everyone. Okay, so with that in mind, we wanted to transition into just hearing some experiences that are in Kiowa history about Tsangoodle and Mongka'i. And so we wanted to look at the Silverhorn calendar. And the Silverhorn calendar, so you can see here on this page, this is a hide painting, and this is from, I think it's from, is this from Silverhorn?
Yeah.
Is that where you got it, the picture?
Yes, it's a book that he had with Candace Green.
Aw.
It's called Silverhorn.
All right, and so you can see and these are some really good drawings here, depictions of Tsangoodle. So you can see Tsangoodle right there in the middle, and then you can also see looks like Tsangoodle in the clouds. And so those are just kind of to keep in mind as we go through this next part. And so these are taken from, we're going to look at the Silverhorn calendar entries. And we're going to look at how Kiowa's recounted experiences of Tsangoodle in our history. And so it's from the Candace Green book, 100 Summers. And these are referenced in the slides as well. So if anyone wants a copy of the presentation, we can PDF it and email it out to you as well. So just let us know. So right here, you'll see on this calendar entry, so the Kiowa calendar counts, there were winter count and summer count. So they had 2 entries for each year. And 1 year, so it was a winter event and then a summer event that were documented for each year. So you can kind of see way off over here on the left-hand side of the screen, that is a building, a depiction of a building. And we're going to get to that, the significance of that here in a minute. And in the middle here, you see some pictographs here. So you can see the top part is kind of torn off, but you can see that tail, the tail of Tsangoodle. And you can see there's something bad that happened that time. And that's in the middle part. And then you see the blue line. And then on the right-hand side, we see another depiction of Tsangoodle. So Red Horse Stormmaker came again. So 2 entries in a row. And so now we're going to go into the significance behind these entries as written and interpreted by Candace Green in her book, 100 Summers. So I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to turn this over to first to Brenda and then to Courtney. So Brenda.
Okay. The title there is 1904 to 05 Redstone Church built winter. This church identified by Havat as Red Rock was named for the Redstone area west of Anadarko, where many family members took allotments. Silverhorn was buried at the Redstone Cemetery years later. The church still maintains an active congregation.
1905 Great Cyclone Summer. The major event recorded this season was the Snyder Cyclone of May 10, 1905, in which more than 100 people were killed. According to the calendar, a marshal was killed, his head torn off by the force of the storm, as Silverhorn graphically illustrates. Many storm victims were mutilated by flying debris. The National Weather Service ranks this as one of the most deadly tornadoes in U.S. history. The fragmentary figure in this damaged drawing represents the storm maker Red Horse, shown more clearly in the next entry. This supernatural being has the upper body of a horse and a long sinuous tail like a snake, which it whips around to stir up tornadoes. Silverhorn's signature appears again at the bottom of the page together with a roughly sketched cradle board. This could represent the birth of another of Silverhorn's children. The crude drawing appears to be an afterthought and may have been added by another hand.
All right. So you just heard that. So I'm going to go back to the calendar entry here. So you can see what Brenda read about Redstone Church. That's on the far left. And then after that blue line in the middle part with the really graphic decapitated soldier, that is what Courtney just read. And so now we're going to go into hearing about this third entry on the calendar. So let me go to the next part. And I'm going to turn this over to Miss Pat Kupsa to read this part for us.
Kiowa Batson. In 1905-06, Red Horse winter. Red Horse was fully visible in this drawing. According to Huckle, this second Destiny tornado was in Mountain View. The Daily Oklahoma reported that the storm hit on November the 4th, and the following day of the paper carried the details accounting the event, which was described as second only to the greatest Snyder Dester last spring. I looked up I got that date, and that was May the 10th was that tornado in Snyder. And it was one of the worstest tornadoes there ever was. And if you look at that picture, it tells about the two viewings of turn it back where mine is, Melanie. Right there. Great interest in that calendar right there by Silverhorn. But I just wanted to make, as I was going over this, it brought back great memories to me. When my mother was 15 years old, she lost her mother, and so I never did have a grandmother. But I had a grandfather, and after my mother's mother passed away, a year after that, my grandfather went blind. And so my mother had to take care of him and her two brothers. His name was Stanley Akibo Chano. And so I had a grandfather. He was very precious to me. We took care of him. He was in our household. And the reason I'm saying this is because when the storms would come, I don't know how our elder Kiowas would know, but when the storms would come, they knew when they were coming, and my grandfather was blind. But even before, during the day, it would be sunshine sometime in the evening time, and as the night would fall, my grandfather would tell my mother, May, that was my mother's name, you need to get the children, because there was 6 of us and we were like in stair steps. And he'd say, you need to get the kids and let's go and spend the night in the cellar. We had a cellar there and it had beds in there, so we could spend the night in there. How did I know he knew that the storm was going to come? Because he was blind and he couldn't see, but yet we'd go in, we'd make our way into the cellar. Mom would take us in there and we would spend the night in the cellar. And so we'd stay all night in there. But the next morning when we would come out, sure enough, it would be a storm would have hit and everything. But I just wanted to bring that up, and because that's what reminded me of it when it talked about the storm, especially at Mountain View, because we lived at Alden, and that was very close to where we live. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Oh, thank you, Pat. Awesome. Let's see. So with that, so that was 1904 to 1906. And, and we went through a winter, a summer, and a winter. And so now we're going to go into the next calendar entry that we wanted to share. And so this is another page from Candace Green's book. Again, we put the reference, it's at the end of this presentation, but it's called 100 Summers. And so you can see on the left-hand side, you see there's a tree and there's 4 people kind of depicted there. So that's the first entry that we're going to talk about. And then we have the middle. And I want everyone to kind of take a look at the middle entry here. And you can see, you can recognize that figure of Sangoodle, Stormmaker, or Red Horse. And there's a whole bunch of them. And you can see at the bottom, you can see a bunch of, I guess it maybe might be a horse herd. I don't know, but there's a whole bunch of them. So, and then if you look up in the top, in the middle part of the page, in the top left corner, you can see, looks like maybe little footprints and the battle teepee. The battle teepee is depicted there. So we're going to hear about that in the next entry. And then on the right-hand side of the page, you can see there is a tree, and you can see there's a figure of a man with a medal, and then you can see a building there in the distance. And so we're going to hear about those entries right now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next part, and we're going to hear from Courtney and then Marie. So Courtney, you're up.
1911, 1912, overtaken by a storm winter. This picture of 4 men lying face down, pelted by precipitation, is eerily reminiscent of the entry for the winter of 1890 to 91, when the schoolboys were frozen. But this event has not yet been identified. 1912, mini storm summer. The winged horses breathing flame are in another representation of Red Horse, the creator of tornadoes, illustrated more fully in the entry of 1905 to 06. Evidently, Red Horse visited Kiowa territory repeatedly this summer. In a 1935 interview, Mary Buffalo explained that a small cyclone is Red Horse shaking his ears, while a big cyclone is many horses running. A small picture in the upper corner shows a striped teepee representing the teepee with battle pictures, which at this time belonged to Mary Buffalo's husband, Charlie Buffalo, Silverhorn and Havat's brother. Numerous small marks surrounding the teepee indicate many people gathering there. Mary Buffalo's granddaughter, Betty Nixon, told me that during her childhood in the 1930s, people would gather around Grandpa Buffalo when there was a storm, as he had the power to make it pass safely by. This teepee, which belongs to Little Bluff, has a lengthy history. It has been made and remade in various contexts from 1840s up to the present. Although it, like other painted teepees, fell out of use in the 1890s, this calendar entry demonstrates that was once again in use by 1912.
1912 to 1913, went to Washington winter. This entry shows a man with a large peace medal on his chest traveling to the national capital by train. The calendar records a number of trips to Washington over the next few years, always represented by the domed Capitol building. Most record trips by Chief Lone Wolf, as indicated by his name glyph. He was always accompanied by his nephew Delasque Lone Wolf. This picture may represent the younger Lone Wolf, who was photographed together with his wife at the Smithsonian wearing such a medal in 1913.
Awesome, thank you, Marie. And then you can see the picture that they just mentioned in 1913 is there on the screen. All right, thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Marie. Does anyone have any questions about these two entries? And I'll go back a slide so we can look at the calendar entries again. All right, I'm not hearing any questions. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat box, or you can use the raise your hand function on Zoom, or just stop us and ask your question.
Did it say who painted this one?
These are all the Silverhorn calendar.
Okay, all of them. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then if the whole book, I don't know if you can see my screen, but the book 100 Summers is basically all of the entries completed and documented by Silverhorn. And he had transferred them from the they used to be on a hide, like in this. Let me go back, like this. They were on a hide originally, but then of course with being put on the reservation and things like that, then they started he started using ledger paper, so you can see the lines in these pictures here. And of course the paper is really, disintegrating over time. So these are all archived at the Smithsonian, and that's why Dr. Candace Green, an anthropologist, worked to archive these and make sure that, and that's how she made her book.
Silverhorn was also Ruth's uncle, and Don Topai, our director, that was his great-great-grandfather. And on Dr. Bill Meadows, Dolores Harrigara and I are listed of two of the many consultants he got. All of this knowledge came from many, many of our elder Kiowas.
Hongu was my grandfather, my mother's father. So he was my grandfather.
Awesome. And they were brothers, right? Him and Silverhorn?
We're going to talk a little Kiowa a little bit, so don't leave us, people.
Oh, all right. Well, with that, I wanted to pull this up here for everyone to see. And so this is a depiction of Tsangoodle, or Red Horse, and Stormmaker. You can see the similarities to Silverhorn's paintings that we just looked at. And this was created by Tawana Spivey, and former director at the Fort Sill Museum. And so just wanted to pause and see if anyone, had any comments about this sculpture that they'd like to offer. All right, and you can see the tail there, and you can see how the tail is creating that funnel, the tornado. Beautiful, beautiful artwork here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move along, and we are going to turn it over. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Marie.
Our way is respect. We respect the storm. We respect Daki, our creator, whom we refer to as Dam Oi Om Daki, the one who created everything. There is a time and a place for everything. Everything we do as a Kiowa person has a purpose, a meaning, and has great power. Our songs, our dances, our prayers, our ceremonies, our teachings, our stories, our ways must be respected. We have responsibility to the future of our Kiowa people to instill respect and to remember so that our Kiowa ways will not be forgotten.
Aho.
Aho, Marie. And so with that, we wanted to share with you a recording, a song that we've been practicing. And because of Zoom and technology, we would sing it for you, but with Zoom, there's a lag time and it gets complicated to try to get everyone synced up. So we're going to play a recording for all of us to listen to, and then we'll be able to take some commentary after the recording. So let me go here and pull up the recording. Now I'm going to play it for a second, and I'm going to ask you if you can hear it. So I want to make sure it's coming through your speakers. So, hey, I'm going to play it for a second, and I'm going to stop, and then we'll restart it. Okay, can everyone hear the recording?
Huh.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. This is about a minute that this will play for.
Save ya I go, save ya I go, boy ba hake ya go, pan aim koi de dom de ki te na boy ain't pay dog he ain't son ya dog he ain't son ya pope. Save ya I go, save ya I go, boy ba hake ya go. Pan em koi de dom de ki te na boy ain't pay dog he ain't son ya pope. Dog he ain't son ya pope. Every time I hear something like thunder or lightning, there's this song and it says, August save ya I, there's rain coming. And boy ba hate go with lightning. And the panim all koi de the clouds are twirling. And dom de geek de go. Geek de is old Kiowa for I'm gonna shake the earth. Na boy ain't paid though. Don't get afraid of me. Cause dog he told me to do it. The Lord told me to do it.
This is Dennis Zotai. Can I interject something? I don't think we have any video evidence of our people doing the feather dance, which for those who are not familiar with it is the ghost dance. But the Pawnee people do this every year during New Year's in their roundhouse. And I've seen them do it. And the cadence that was just sung is the cadence that they use. And it's done only by men, and they have rattles, and all the men round dance, but it's a sideways gallop. That type of cadence, exactly like what that was just sung.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dolores is here, Dolores Herriger, and she has access. She has one of those gourds from a long time ago. Of course, people have things from that were left to them, but she lives on that Seda Peto Road and the Feather Dance Road, and that's her Kiowa name. This is me, Dennis, Dorothy.
I just want to say I love you and I miss you, Dorothy.
Yeah. Hey, going bonta sometime.
Was there any other comments or questions, or did any of Grandma Dee or Grandma Dorothy, would you like to say anything else about this song here?
Well, I was going to wait till the end, but I'll go ahead and say that this song comes from the feather dance religion, which was ghost dance is another name, but Kiowas called it Amakun, and it was practiced by the Kiowas from the mid 1890s to 1916. And it is presented here because of the weather terms mentioned in the song. It is about an approaching thunderstorm and acknowledges God the Creator. And the song, as I say, was from about the 1890s to 1916. So it's not as old as the stories about the red horse and that we were discussing. It's just a song that they sang that has all those terms. And somehow people remember that, I guess, because of the terms in there. I don't know, but anyway, that's my comment. I just want to make sure that it's not an old song. I mean, to you guys it is, but not to me. I'm 91, so it isn't that old.
Oh, Grandma Dee. Grandma Dorothy, would you like to add anything?
Well, Hyundai owned it day, but son. Inga Koki Zelbedi. Higa get go to data. Na hata batata. Goe gu bado. Goe kekon babado. Bekyan batoyi. Ko on mado. Honde hago. Adota dopo, but hana on time. Dota get the kikado. Okay, get back can get I get Amal. He go I get to him kill. Mutton ain't already. Oya deal, I get to kill. They don't keep a title to the ana built to. You can eat the chat. Go a combo, but can't but I said, you people that are kin to us, that live far away, our prayers are always with you. And seem like as you get older, you begin to appreciate things that have passed on. And there's a melancholy right now for our elders that set the road for us and pass the words to our younger ones that are coming behind us. And that's what I'm trying to do, but my memory is kind of getting a little bit dim. And the girls that are taking this language class and the guys, they are just wonderful. They're fast learners. And I have, and Dolores has, these women are ready to teach. Thank the Lord, because that'll go on from us. And you lay a little road and don't ever be afraid of who you are, because you've got people at home that go to Bodo. We love you all. I've got some grandkids sitting in the audience. And it's so precious to me, and it came up so good, is that Brenda Sullivan is a paddletee. And I've been with her from the start of this program. And she teaches the Kiowa language at the Anadarko High School. And she's ready to teach the Kiowas. Very fast, good. And then I have Cricket Conoworthy, Melody, Carol Cawley, and all of you, Marie, thank you for your patience with me. Velma Ruth, and all of you. And my prayers go with all of you. I hope we succeeded in this. I'm so proud of y'all. Melody's name is Gomgadogama. Gomgadogama. We also had wind songs. And Brenda's Kiowa name is Tsohulma, Redstone Woman. And my Kiowa name is Dotsaga Antagama. And Cricket's name is Motema. It's something that you need to strive to do before, and before the elders are gone, get you a Kiowa name and carry on that tradition, all of you. Pat Coopso, she's got another name, but Sadem Gunma, Dancing Bear. And it's just so delightful when I ask somebody how to employ and they tell you. So kind of attend to that. That's a Kiowa, that was a Kiowa trait in my part of the Kiowa country. And we're getting old now. Dolores mentioned our age, but our prayers are always with y'all wherever you go, all of you. Agai Batoyi. Go with God is what it said. Aho.
Oh.
I Hyundai Inside thought, Dennis. I wanted to know if your dad knows that song that we were singing.
You know what?
That Grandma Dorothy was singing.
No.
I'm sitting in my favorite dancing place at Indian City.
He said Hane.
Hall. Hey go May. In May, hey go Megunma. Tell your story now, Melody, about how our elders broke the clouds.
Okay. So this is Melody, Redbird Post. As Grandma said, "Gom get dog yama akoy ka, Anadarko kya akiro." And so just wanted to share a little story here, but also take an opportunity to open up to all of you who are listening, and just think about what we do in order to be prepared for the storms that come down. So we heard some stories. We heard a same day story. We heard story about an actual historical account from some of our historical leaders. And we saw some of the calendar history that was documented around the turn of the 20th century. And so I just wanted to share my little experience. But it meant a lot to me and to my kids. So that's why I wanted to share it. And hopefully, as you're listening, you'll think about some of your things that you've heard from your elders. And and hopefully, if you want to, we invite you to share those. So basically with that, the feather dance song that we all heard. So that song, learned it from Grandma Dorothy back when I was working at the Kiowa Child Care Center, because, our little kids at the child care, they would get afraid. And then my own kids would get afraid about the storm, when the weather starts getting bad and everyone's got to go down to the storm shelter and it's uncertain, right? People get scared. And so Grandma Dorothy shared that song. And so we were able to sing that song with our kids over there at the child care center. And I was able to sing that song with my kids. Well, something that happened this past May 2020. We had a storm come through Anadarko. Well, it started out, west of Carnegie area, then it kept coming to the east like they normally do. And here in Anadarko, the weather started getting really bad. And you could see, everyone's getting all the alerts on their phones, and I'm getting alerts, and I'm working, and it's the middle of the day, it's in the afternoon, it's kind of looking out the window. It got really dark. It got windy. The hail started coming, you know, all the stuff with the storm. And it started getting pretty bad. And so then I get a phone call. I got a phone call from Grandma Dorothy. And she said, hey, she asked how we were doing. And it's like, well, so I have 5 kids at home here. And said, well, you know, we're just kind of watching the weather and kind of worried. Kids are getting worried. And so Grandma said, well, here's what you do. She said, go get a knife and go outside and face the east, and then put that knife in the ground and pray whatever comes from your heart. And she gave me some words to pray in Kiowa, and she said, go pray for that storm to, you know, what I was told and what Grandma reminded me is, you know, when we pray for the storm to remember that same day story, that same Goodle story, that because Kiowa's made that tornado on accident long time ago, that we need to remind the storm that we're Kiowa here, and that storm needs to turn around and go the other way. It needs to leave us alone. And so I said, okay. So I got off the phone with Grandma, and this was in last May. I went, got my little butter knife from the kitchen, walked out my back door, and my 9-year-old and my 10-year-old, they're following me, and they're asking, you know, what are you doing? And I said, well, that was Grandma. And Grandma Dorothy said that we need to pray. So I'm going to go pray. And so I took this screenshot right here on the left-hand side of the screen. That's from my weather app on my phone. And you can see the little orange indicator. That's where Anadarko is. See where that storm is. And then I went outside, and I prayed how Grandma said I should, put that knife in the ground, prayed, and then turned around, went back inside. 10 minutes later, I took this the sky got lighter, that rain stopped, and I took this other screenshot on my phone, a weather app, and you can see, now I've always heard that our Kiowa prayers split the storm, but I guess I never actually saw it with my own eyes. I've always heard that, and you know, from my aunties and uncles and my grandmas, but I looked at my weather app and I about fell over because I'm looking at showing my kids. I'm like, look, there's Anadarko, and look, it literally split the storm. And my kids got so excited. They were just like, Mama, it worked. And I'm like, yeah, prayer works. We're Kiowa, you know, pray. And then I called Grandma Dorothy back and I told her, and I said, Grandma, it worked. So anyway, that's just my little experience. But to me, that felt really validating, I guess. And just wanted to share that prayer works. And so, Obaha.
Hey, Melody, that I just love how you have that right there. And Kevin has a story that he wants to share that's almost exact same thing.
Oh.
I don't know if you can see him or not.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
I want to see myself.
Hey.
No. Well, I was walking along one day, but we were in Dallas about 3 years ago. My son had a soccer tournament there, and so we were in Dallas. We were staying at a friend's house who is not Kiowa, and there was a huge storm. It was a downburst that hit Dallas. It was in June, mid-June, and she had never been in a tornado or anything. And the sirens went off, and she was freaking out. And we were all in the house, and she didn't know what to do. She was panicking. And so we all got in the restroom because that was the central part of the house. And there's a lot of funny stories about that, but we'll save that for later. but I told her, I said, you know, my grandfather always told me to get your knife and to stick it in the ground and to talk to that storm. And so she said, okay, let's do it. So she ran into her kitchen and she got a huge butcher knife and she just thrust it at me and said, go outside and do it. And so I went out there and she was holding the door for me, and it was just really bad. I mean, there were like tree limbs flying over us and hail and everything. And so I stuck that knife in the ground and I started talking to the storm, and I told it to go away, to leave us alone. And just like what you said, that almost as soon as I did that, and I started telling the storm to leave us alone, I mean, everything just stopped. And she looked at me and her eyes were like saucers. She couldn't believe it. She said, it worked, you know. And that storm was like the biggest storm that hit Dallas. And it knocked down a tree in her backyard and everything. But you know, we used the knife like we were told, and it stopped. And so that storm knocked over a huge crane and everything in Dallas, but yeah, some people died, but we were spared. So those old stories and the old ways, they work. Because I've done it when I lived here in Norman for both more tornadoes, because they were both headed to Norman, and I did that, and the storms would turn. And so that, you know, I believe it. So I'm a witness.
I hope.
Oh, love that.
Thank you, Kevin. I hope.
Does anyone else have any experiences that you'd like to share?
Yes, this is Bernadine Rhodes.
Oh.
And I've heard stories, but my mother told me this
Oh,
particular.
Bernadine, it's a little hard to hear you.
All right, is this better?
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, if I swallow the microphone, you might not hear me either. It's right up next to me. My mother told me this story a long time ago because we were scared of storms. And she said, you don't have to be afraid. You have to go out and yell at the storm that's coming. Goy goo a da, mamso in heat. We are Kiowas, go up. And gapso in ba, go the other way. And I've taught that to my children and to my grandchildren. And when my grandson was young, he must have been about 5, and they came up here to our house and a big storm hit, and we were downtown at Red Earth, didn't know it. When we came home, trees were all over the place. And my grandson came to the door and was so pleased. He said, Grandma, I went out and said, goy goo a da. And the tornado was a tornado, did not hit the ground, it hit the tops of the trees. And so the next day in looking out, he said, boy, this is messy. He said, I sure am glad I know Kiowa. So they use, so all you have to do, I don't know if I can dance and I can't remember the song. I just say, goy goo dum mom so. So the neighbors are pretty soon going to know that also, because I yell out the door loudly. So that's all you need to do also, is go out and tell them you're Kiowa and to go up and leave us alone. Thought I'd share that in this stormy weather.
Oh.
Good to see everybody. Y'all look good.
Ah, day boom.
Me too.
That's awesome. I love that. Cricket wrote those words in the chat box for anyone who wanted to know how to spell that.
Spell what?
You said, what was the last part? You said goigu a da. Manso a.
Mamso means go up.
Go on up.
Mam means go up. Mamso in ba, go up.
Yeah.
It means for the storm to go up and where Kiowas don't come down to us.
Put it on the screen if you can. Go good.
We are Kiowa. I got lots of power.
Oh.
Can you put that on the screen, one of you?
Yeah, Cricket is. She's typing.
Okay. Are you okay?
Oh. All right. I love that. And it's in the chat box if anyone wants to see that. We wrote it down the best we could.
Very good. Say it.
Melody, can she say that last phrase again?
Mrs. Bernadine, would you be able to get closer to the mic? Because we couldn't hear that last part you said. There are 3 phrases. We only heard the first 2.
Okay, I'm going to be right here. It's on my lips. Eh? Goi gu e da mamso em heat. H-E-E-T, I would say. Mamso. I would spell it M-A-H-M.
Yeah.
Mamso, T-S-O, so, aim heat. A-I-M-H-E-E-T. We've learned the alphabet.
Oh, yeah. Somebody read. Thank you, LaRue. She got it already. Manto, I'm hit.
Yep, that's right. Got that? Did I get everybody?
Yeah, and then you said one other thing at the end. I think you said something like, go away or leave us alone.
Yeah. I said, well, I say all kinds of things when I go to talk to it. Leave me alone. Boy, aim at all. Do not come. Mamso aim heat. So I just say, do not come, or gapso aim ba, go the other way. There are little phrases that you can tell it just to not come down, to go away. Did that come across?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh. Yeah, so a ba.
Gap, so like K-Y-A-P, gap. So, T-S-O, gap. It's kind of a hard P.
Yeah, so a ba.
A ba, ah. Sola.
Yeah.
Awesome. Aho. That is.
Everybody got that?
Oh, I think so.
Always say a call on. They like to ingratiate themselves, our elders. They were so sweet.
Oh.
Thank you, Bernadine.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Down, down, bum.
Oh, sort. Hi, your hand, Tokia. Oh. Yeah, fakey. They said they call these dances something kind of bad, and they go get key. The akia. Hey, go get fake. I go to Kia.
No, by dotsai.
Oh, dotsai. Toy, but hey, go I said I ran out of prayers. I prayed so hard that people won't catch this. And I tried to call your classmate, Anthony, today, and I didn't get an answer, but he said, I seen where he put, I get to go home tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And Hyundai Gecko to Peyton, he put on Facebook, I think I have that COVID, don't ya? Yo! Instead of busting it out crying, I would have key, ain't I?
Tested positive, and it threw his diabetes out of whack. So his levels were all over the place, but he's doing really well now.
Oh, good, good. I just worried so much about him and couldn't even find out how he was.
Oh, I'm so glad that he'll be going home and doing better.
So he just enrolled with us and came 2 times.
Oh.
Share some of you ladies share some of the Kiowa's talking for the people or stuff that you learned. Cricket, Melody.
Call it out.
I have one student that's she's Bobby Cannon's granddaughter. Name's Chelsea Wright. She taught Mandarin in Korea and Japan. So when she first enrolled, I said, "Help me, help. How do you spell my name?" But she wrote a little bit. She drew a little bitty house, and she taught that. She said, but it looked like a little bitty house, and I said, I never. The way the Japanese write their language. But she's taken Kiowa. She's pretty good. She teaches high school here at Anadarko. And that was Bob Cannon's granddaughter.
Yeah, Chelsea is awesome. She's done several outreaches, coordinated several outreaches in Anadarko area, and she has it going on. She's got really smart young lady. I put something in the chat box, and it's just weather terms. Grandma Dorothy just asked to share some Kiowa, so if you guys wanted to look at that, maybe I have just different types of weather terms. It's some of the stuff that we've gone over in different sessions that we've had. And I think this might have been shared with me. I think Travis Mama Day from Tulsa was asking about these.
Cricket,
but I guess
Maya put lightning. How do you say lightning? It's born by Hekya. Born by Hekya, and it's a later word because we had to give that. We called the lightning born by Hekya, so that's what we call our lights in our house. You know, you're born by Hekya. Born by Hekya. And a lot of people just got theirs on today out in the country by the Apache. 15 days. Born by Hekya, yeah.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Well, that's awesome, Maya. A weather calendar. That is so cool.
So, So anyway, I'll copy this chat box and send it out to everything. I'll send it to Melody and she can send it out to everybody.
Yeah, we have,
you have everybody.
Yeah, everyone put
email.
Yeah, whoever wanted to get emails, they put it in the chat box. So if you joined us a little later, we asked if you wanted to copy a link of to the recording sent directly to you. We can also put these slides in a PDF and send those out. So on the Zoom, if you could put your email in the chat box, and then we'll make sure to include you in that we're also going to send it out to the listserv that we have for the KLCRP for the teacher candidates and mentors. So you'll get that automatically. But for anyone who's, who's joining us, we're happy to share the resources. So that's what they're here for, to make sure they get out to Iowans who are interested. All right. I also wanted to mention, I think we are kind of winding down, but I wanted to mention before we end here, I wanted to mention that we do ask all of you, if you don't mind, for our program, because it is federal funding, we have to get input and feedback from the participants in our outreach event. So I put in the chat box a link that if you click on it, it'll take you about 5 minutes. It's a little survey. And if you don't mind clicking on that, that would be awesome, to just let us know what you thought of today's outreach event. And then also let us know what you'd like to see for future events, if you have any ideas. So if you don't mind taking a few minutes before you log off here, if you don't mind clicking on that link in the chat box, that would be awesome. Oh yes, and Maya or Tony, did one of you want to talk about tomorrow's event?
Yes, in our last outreach, we talked about how people were really missing the veterans recognition that we usually do in our regular dances, like the victory dance, and people were saying that they really missed that and thought it would be a good idea to maybe have something on Zoom. So Freddie Kozad has offered to sing some songs for us, and then we're gonna have some more people, really just an open discussion about veterans traditions, and go through the translation of a couple of songs, and then a couple of just terms related to veterans and soldiers in the military. So that'll be tomorrow Central Time at 6:30 to 8:30. The link is on Facebook. It's also on the Kiowa Tribal website.
Thank you.
Oh, I hope. Yeah, be on the lookout for that. I wonder if you could put a Zoom link for tomorrow's session into the chat, if anyone has access to it. But go to the Kiowa Language and Cultural Revitalization Program, that Facebook page, and it's right there under, you'll see it pop up when you go to that. And you said it's also on the website, right, Tony?
Yes, it's also on the website.
Awesome. KiowaTribe.org. So let's see, before we get ready to close out here, we wanted to just see if anyone had any comments or experiences or questions for us.
This is Dennis Zotai. I have an announcement.
Oh.
The National Native American Veterans Memorial is complete, but because of the pandemic, we postponed a live opening. But tomorrow, if you go to the National Museum of American Indian website, we will have a 17-minute virtual opening, which will be played over and over all day. And I know that several Kiowas were planning on coming out, but we don't have a date yet. We're waiting to see a time when it's a little more safe, where anybody coming here won't bring it back to their community. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that we do have a virtual opening tomorrow of this national monument.
Oh,
okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
It's on
Cool.
Where's it gonna?
Oh, I'm
where
sorry.
we find the link for that one?
Oh, it's on our website, National Museum of American Indian, or just put NMAI, it'll take you to it.
Okay.
Cricket, would you be able to put the link, if you can find it, in the chat for people? And then I think I saw someone wanted to speak.
Oh, this is Tom Phillips. They own all my core relatives out there. It's
Hey,
good.
Tom.
We're out here in Dennis and Dr. Satok and all the good people. I don't know a lot of you, but my mother was Roxy Kodaseet Sotai, and she passed on about 6 years ago. But it's good. My niece Courtney, I heard her earlier this evening. It really made me proud. I've been trying to help her with a little bit of what little Koigo I know. And so it's good to hear all your stories, and especially the storm stories. I remember that when I was growing up, my grandpa Walter Kokom, my mother's uncle, and he used to tell us stories like that, the storm stories, and it was just good. We used to go visit him at Saddle Mountain and just recall a lot of good stories. I've been away from home a long time, since 1962. And my niece, she invited me and Dorothy Whitehorse came out to California a couple of years ago to have a naming for one of the grandchildren of my cousin
Joycetta.
Yeah, Joycetta. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit old too. Joycetta, her little grandchildren, they were receiving their Kiowa names, and we had a little naming ceremony at one of our California powwows, and it was good to see them for a short while. But it's just good sitting again, listening to all the stories and all the young people trying to pick up the Kiowa language. They own it. Keep it up. Hey, go, young high go. You'll learn it, and it's good to zoom in and just listen to all you good people and continue to regain what we're losing, our language, and we need to preserve our koeto. And so I just want to thank you all for being here and just supporting and helping the young ones coming behind us. Cool. Thank you.
One of you girls tell him our class nights.
Mm-hmm.
We meet. Go ahead, Melody. Tell him which Carnegie and each one. What night?
So for the Anadarko and Norman cohorts, our group is combined, the Anadarko and Norman group. And so since the pandemic, since May, we've been meeting virtually on Zoom like this, and we'll have a different topic every week. We meet every week on Wednesdays from 6:30 to 8:30, except for tomorrow, because tomorrow is the Veterans Day, and that's the outreach that Carnegie and Cash and Lawton and Tulsa are doing. So you're welcome to join us. We have this really long list. We are pretty much open to anyone who wants to join and listen to Kiowa or just ask questions about, because our elder mentors are there. And if you just want to ask, we ask people to bring a list of Kiowa phrases and words that they want to hear, translated. So anyway, Wednesdays from 6:30 to 8:30 Central Time, Oklahoma time. And we'll pick it up again. Let's see, today is, it'll be the 11th this week. So on November 18th, we'll have our next Wednesday session for Anadarko and Norman. And that is led by Grandma Dorothy and also by Grandma Dee, Dolores Herrera, and as well as Velma Eisenberger and Brenda Sullivan. So they're our mentors and alternates for our session, but we're open to any Kiowa who wants to listen in. We have Kiowas joining us from Washington, D.C. and all over the place on Wednesday nights, and we record it on Zoom. And if you're on the email list, I send the recordings out. So, and it's a private YouTube channel because it's not public, so you have to be on the email list. But so it's, just so we can all learn Kiowa. So that's about Anadarko and Norman. And I'll see if anyone from Carnegie area wants to talk a little bit about their classes.
Thank you. It was good to hear from you.
Good.
Dorothy, I know.
Good to hear you.
I know it.
Heard from you for a while, Dennis.
Yeah, I talk to Janice every now and then.
Yeah, I haven't called her in a while.
Yeah.
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah. Wando made, and even Terry Greaves is here tonight.
Oh,
And he, highest score ever.
yeah.
Alltså, jag hajade me 5 years ago what soccer was.
Yeah.
Since he's playing, that
Mhm.
an interest.
San Jose earthquakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Spanish people.
Okay.
have regards to this
Kevin has a question.
black snake. That's what they call the
Okay.
oil
Monday.
I want to know
snake.
if any of you know how the Kiowas took cover
Not
from
understand
the tornadoes or from the ice storms,
political wise,
what kind of big storms were happening.
because money talks, and that's what is the devil, and that's what we're trying to avoid. But
Is
all
that
politicians have something in
question for our elder?
their pockets and want in their
Yeah, so for, I don't know if Miss Rhodes or Grandma Dorothy or Miss Vergara might have heard stories, or any, or Miss Velma or anybody else has heard stories. We kind of talked on it, but I don't think he heard.
This is I
have
wanna
to
know before-
see and read
Okay.
things about.
Does
Well,
anybody?
Cricket, I suggest those Kiowa culture tapes where all those topics are. I don't know if there's one about weather. There should be. Because they covered a lot of things. The Kiowa culture program in the late 70s. Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. Thank you, Grandma Dee.
Most of the stories I heard are kind of intertwined with Kiowa Apache, but there's a story about a woman that was lost from home and she was trying to make it back to where the Kiowas were. And a storm came up and she hid in the carcass of a buffalo ribs. And it saved her, a dead buffalo, and she used that for cover. But it goes on, it's a long story. But those sound more like legends, like from our early times, because there is also a song, it's an Ohoma song that was made, and Grandma Dongede, she was little grandma from the Zumots. She came to see my dad many years ago, and she said she had a dream, and it was a fawn and a doe. They were running on the side of her, and there were ice caves. And she was singing and talking about how it was so cold, and she was singing, and they still sing that song now when they're in the Ohoma deals. But I'm not allowed to sing those, so I'd have to hum it for somebody. But it's really, and that was Grandma Dongede. She owned the land where St. Patrick's was built. Her Viola Zumwalt was her granddaughter. That's a beautiful story. There's many, and I don't know whether to post them as legends or true stories. So it's just what I remember. I'm so glad I have a little bit memory left, because it's fixing to go anytime.
And I think so, like hiding in the ribs of the buffalo, and when you were showing the pictures, I don't remember if it was a calendar, if it was the ledger drawings, and they were talking about it. I remember which one, it was Meadows or Candace, but they said to get down, stay down, don't run off, that part. Yeah, so but he didn't get to hear that, but it was basically just staying down, hunkering down onto the ground. So I guess you'd still get really wet.
maybe that could be an assignment, and everybody one day write an old story and see how we can decipher those. That would be something good. We have so many songs. There's so many songs that are going to be left undone. Gomga Dogya, Kita Dogya, the frost songs, the wind songs, the feather dance songs, the love songs, the Kobe songs, all kind of songs. And I still have a tape of this was kind of not an intertribal, but Velma Ruth as grandmother and my sister-in-law's mother, when they formed the Purple Heart Club, they had some pretty songs. And I have those that I got them from a Wichita guy. And they're really good. I'll share those if y'all want to someday.
Oh.
But Purple Heart had some pretty songs. We had the VFW Auxiliary. It was intertribal, World War II. The VFW Auxiliary, it was all intertribal, Caddos, Wichitas, Kiowas. We had the Purple Heart Club from Stecker, that area. We had the Victory Club from Carnegie, and then the Kiowa War Mothers, Chapter 18, Kiowa Chapter 18. Got the charter a long time ago. But there were many, many service clubs from each tribe. And it was interesting. Most of them are gone now.
I have a quick question to Grandma Dorothy or Bernadine or Velma or Aunt Grandma Dee. When you talk about tornadoes today in this current time, do you still refer to it in the same way, or is there a contemporary word?
I do. I was at a powwow when I was a little girl at John Greeny's house. The Ohoma went there to dance, and we were eating supper, and the building blew over when I was about 6 or 7, and I never forget that. So I'm desperately scared of bad weather. But this praying and going out and doing that has lessened that fear as I've grown older. But I had an experience with everything. People got it came apart. We were getting ready to dance, and that building just came apart. Like Cricket was in a catastrophe like that with the Caddos, about 2 years ago when the building blew over. So I think most of us have been touched by tornadoes and they call it Sepkiat. Scared of rain, but it's Sepkiat when you're a scarecrow, or you're Kiat. And people kind of ridicule you. You know, you have people that say, well, if it's gonna get me, it's gonna get me. Well, you go ahead and stay out. I'll crawl under the bed if I have to. And Kimberly, it's good to hear from you.
Dorothy.
Hyundai.
My grandparents, though, you know, like when the storms came and stuff, they used the axe.
Yeah.
They didn't use the knife, they used the axe. You know,
yeah,
right?
like a hatchet.
Yeah.
I still have one of the hatchets in my stuff. And yeah, they use an axe. I don't doubt that a bit. My brother Mac used to tie a four-cornered bandana on his head and then go out to cut the clouds. Just different ways. It's Gasami.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota
As
song.
you were speaking about storms, well, I we don't use any of the, I don't, and my family haven't taught my children anything, but my parents had a very nice cellar. And so we used to go there, and I spent many a night in the cellar because everyone else got up and left me in there. And my children have memories about their grandparents taking them to the cellar, and it's still there on where I live, the very cellar. It was very well built, and it's older than I am, and I'm 91. And it's still in good shape. It's full of everybody's oil. It's just full of oil. People bring their stuff. So it's in there. And my mother used to store her whatever she canned in the summer. That was her storage place for all her garden, whatever she grew in her garden. And so it had a use. And so like I say, right now it's just storage mostly. And it's still in fairly good shape. Some of it's peeling off. But if you go around and you notice, driving through the countryside, you will see a cellar. Probably all you'll see is a cellar if you look.
Right.
And then like if you go, where the Apache church is on Indian Road between Fort Cobb and Carnegie, there's a cellar on the south side of the road, and I just assume that it's an Indian home, an old Indian allotment, because most of the Indians had cellars, and the one we had it was cement. It was very, very well built, and so I still have that. And then the tribe gave me one of those kind that you just walk in, and I don't trust it. I've never even gone in there during a storm warning. If I go anywhere, I go to the old cellar, and it's very well built and it's still there. And so and I'm just bringing it up because most everyone had a cellar. And like I say, you go and drive around, you'll see everything is gone, but the cellar will be there. Or nowadays, I think they call it storm shelter. And then, yeah.
Oh,
I don't even have one of them outside ones, and I seen a house that had two of them out by the Petui.
Well, let's see. We are at 8:24, and we're scheduled to go till 8:30, so we're just about getting ready to wrap up. I wanted to mention a couple things before I turn it over to Grandma D to close us out. But for those of you, first of all, it's really good to see all of you. And if you, Mr. Tom Phillips and Mr. Dennis Sotai and Mr. Ralph Sotai, if you all would are interested in getting on the email list for the Anadarko and Norman sessions, if you can send me your email in the chat box. So that that way we can put your email down and you can get the emails. And thank you so much for everyone is sharing stories in the chat box. So Cricket mentioned that we'll copy down the chat and we'll include it in the follow-up email when we send the resource out, the slides out.
Oh, thank you.
So with
okay, and I just want to just reiterate one more time that, and I know I put it in the chat, but for people that aren't reading the chat, when you get this, if you didn't fill out the survey, please, copy it and paste it into your browser so you can go to the survey and fill it out, because we do need this for the data that we collect for the grant. So it's important that everybody fills out the survey. Thanks.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Grandma Dee to, you have the floor.
Okay, I want to say welcome to those who have just come on, and it's so good to see, even though I didn't see all of you, all your comments. It's good to know that you're interested in Kiowa, you're proud to be Kiowa. And I'm, as I said before, I'm 91 years old, and my generation, they're all gone, most of them, and I miss Kiowa. I miss talking, and for the past almost year, 9 months almost, I've been away from Carnegie, and I still live there on my mother's allotment. I live on a country. I live in the original Kiowa allotment, and I've always been grateful for that because that makes me feel closer to my people, my Kiowa people, and as my that's my mother's allotment, and it's also the site of the last Kiowa encampment of the Amakun, the feather dance. And so it has a lot of memories for a lot of people. They're all gone, but then I have a, so I'm just grateful to see all you younger ones and your interest and the pride that you have in being who you are. And Kiowa is a very difficult language to learn. And I'm proud of all the candidates and all of you who are interested in writing it. When I was asked to be a part of this program, I made it very clear that I did not read Kiowa, and I did not write it, and I didn't ever intend to, because I understand it and I hear it, and but it's a very difficult language. But I'm proud to, I'm very proud of all of you who are interested, and I have to laugh at a lot of times when my Norman group, they'll, whatever it is, they'll flip over and run over to a page and get a pronoun or noun or whatever it is, and they'll be flipping over their notes, and I just think that, I just laugh. I said, I never learned Kiowa if I had to learn it that way. So I'm just thankful that for all of you, your interest and your comments. I love all of you, and I'm glad that the Lord has made it possible through technology so that we can do this. It saw me. I wonder what my grandparents would have thought if they lived to be where we are. And I'm glad to see my sister Bernadine. And I know she has a lot of stories about our grandparents because she grew up with them. And that's a beautiful thing to grow up with around your grandparents. So with that, I want to wish you well and join us again. Bedotsai. Da pan maim da. Arab dog im da. De amena. Je samen ek arte do. Gork ek on boy da. Ik kan hier da dog. Gork. Gar he go get dog. Gork don't get go get Pete de honey. I'm town bedo. Heta. Eight bait the do. How bag goat I'm town bedo. Gork dog go. Ashan go. Ten dog in I'm town dog in dog but town. How bag goat you hide it dog on town dog. You got to hide. How about Sean to get dog on the arm and dog but town. They are told. Eight colleagues daughter. Hold yourself the title dog in high daughter, high bata, high actor. I'm Dicky get daughter, get town. They hundred and high get on and back gone dog in a harbor could go to. Yeah. tant on a coke or the hang on the door, the on the contact daughter. My either at a high my con, my calm on a calm doggy. Hold so you and take it doggy. Town mother dog. The only you do titans on the arm dog. A tado de amont the gets auto dog in. Habe gekot on tato go good or the indoor top the doggy. The only I'm they pay the dog in pedo. When they get target or cork a combo. Or they pay the combo be dog. I dog can't up the dog. Dogs up the count, dogs up the dog, They the kid the cork a combo. Get God to hug 800 dog is a told dog. How about a daughter a hold to get on with dog? They on the unpaid get on. They paid a hold to get on. All that dog and get it get the on. So they all that dog so on the Akia do har honde get san gedo am de kian har gedo et town ha do dog e ashon ha go petado de akuda ge zelbe hol ki do de amien am dayom tagedo do hol de pedo go take so they pegedo gedo yi de no go the dog ate all good though. I compared the daughter to get pie doggy the tado de. I compared you tell daughter tend to the pack the daughter to get all caught the door the on door they get go town off of. I compared. Amen.
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 Amen. Oh,
They own it.
Oh.
They own the table, son. The
Oh.
orate. Coi cả con bà đó. Mấy cái bà đó. Till a bean the hand that take. I hope.
Oh.
Oh. Obaha. Aho de batha. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. That concludes our program for the evening. And you put your link, your email in the chat box. We will be sending you a link to the recording as well as a copy of the slides. And just look forward to having you on our outreach that the program is hosting tomorrow for Veterans Day. And look forward to having you on future outreaches. We do this once a quarter, so be on the lookout for one. We actually are going to have one in December for the Wednesday Anadarko and Norman group. We're going to
just waving at
some
her.
Kiowa Christmas. Kiowa Christmas.
Bye, Bo.
So.
Big Hank.
Oh, they own it. Boom.
Perfect.
Oh, everyone stay safe.
Oh.
Akiva Taido Day.
How do I turn it on?
All right, Obaha, I'm going to go ahead and close our meeting out.
All right. Oh,
good to see you.
Good to see all of you.
Ah.
Bye, Bo.
Bye.
Hey, go ba oi ba.
What you need? Glasses.
Yeah, I want to turn it.